when we first came in, we saw that it was all sandstone, lit by braziers, and we see these wrapped bodies in these niches, and the niches are laid out horizontally. And well, actually, I wouldn't say niches; they're like little tiny alcoves, just enough room for a laid body. So all these bodies have been wrapped and pristine and taken care of. Um, we continue on when in Bend, and we saw this statue standing guard, and we had Grung search for traps, and we thought, um, is everything cleared? He said, yeah, there's no traps here. And the statue went, yeah, there's no traps here. uh, it moved. We freaked out. And I guess it's because my character is right next to Gronk when this happened. As I try to suss out this moving statue, I somehow got punched in the face. And I was really, really upset. Like, this statue punched me. And so we all went into initiative. We managed to froze this one statue with a cone of code and hold it in place so it wouldn't move out. So we were able to trap it into this little alcove niche that it was placed in, and we're able to wail on it and defeat it. We figured these are like some sort of stone golem statues from ancient times, and they were there to help protect the dead, so to speak. And I think this was where we officially went from level 6 to level 7, but we weren't able to rest up and use those new stuff. Um, so we're technically level 6, even though we had the experience points to level up. So the rest of the fight here, or at least in this adventure, was geared to that level. We didn't have the chance to really rest up. So after taking care of this one statue, we continue on snaking down the bend, and kind of keeping an eye out for any more animated statues that guarded the dead. And when we went to the very center of that hallway, um, all five mummies came out of their niches like, hey, you don't really belong here. And of course, we went to another round of combat. Um, I was able to let off the haste spell, so everyone was able to. Oh, no, 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 no! I wasn't able to haste everyone. I was able to haste Zalazar, or Barbarian. So he was able to wallop more than his usual hits. Yeah, he was able to go from a two hit um, per turn to three hits per turn. So that helped him, and he was able to move around a little bit more. Um, so he was able to wail on some that came up to us. The way it was, we were completely surrounded, but those coming up behind us were slower than the ones coming up in front of us. So we had two. No, I think it was three. Eventually, it was two at first giving us some trouble, and then the third one was able to join up. And there was like two in the back that was really, really slow. Um, and the two that we were dealing with was really tough. We tried to shoot it with pistols. We um, tried to knock them down and all that stuff. I think Grong was walking on the ceiling at the time, so he was able to stay put up there. I think Lars managed to float it up with his winged boots. And let's see, we're able to do a lot of hits. And I finally was able to come to my turn and do my fireball per usual. I did a Ground Zero Fireball, and because I'm a sorcerer, I was able to do my meta magic to spare all of my comrades and managed to kill one, soften up everyone else. Zalazar was able to take down one. Um, Someone did a firebolt, and Ishtana finally was able to do her turn undead and took care of everything else. All of them went poof, and we had no more mummies. So it was a bit tense, and I think, yeah, Ishtana was the very last person in the round. Um, Most of our group had pistols. Our barbarian had a lot more swinging hits, but that was pretty tough. I expect more bodies to drop. What? It's mummies. What can you do with mummies? After dealing with all that, we took a break. We came back the next day. This is all of our pre-Christmas session, and this was, I think, Christmas Eve. We finally picked this up again. We had a lot of vacation time, so we're able to do this before Christmas. Um, so we still haven't rested. We had to heal up a little bit for what had happened from the mummies. We're trying to conserve our spells, and we have to deal with what comes later. So we're a little bit more cautious, I would say, than we normally would have. So at the bend of the hallway, there was another statue that was going to animate, or we think was going to animate. And we were talking about what to do with the statue. Because of Lena's staff of power, I was suggesting of creating a wall of force to confine it in the alcove we all walk past and don't have to do the confrontation. The problem with that was, the time duration. I will have to keep it, concentrated for 10 minutes. We have to go in and out in 10 minutes and then, run away from this thing. And was just not really feasible. Lars suggested using like one of his ice spells to keep it in place, or maybe the one web, maybe we could find there. And Grung, my brother, said, you know what, hold on. I'm going to get my hat of disguise, which came from his one of his previous adventures. Took out the hat of disguise, put him in some sort of robes that he was seeing on these walls. On these walls have been this nice, beautiful hieroglyphic characters and pictograms, and he was seeing how these people were dressed. So he kind of mimicked what he was seeing on the walls, and he went, "Okay, now stay back, let me do this and see if it works." So he went up to the statue, did this bow after crossing his arms, and the statue bows back and allows him through. We thought, okay, so I'll do this thing. So me and Lars do the bow, invitation, and thing, and we went through. We all look at Grung like, okay, now what? Um, as far as Grung knew, the statue didn't do anything else. And he looked at the other two and he wrote a performance check to act like, the others are his servants. And, he's waiting for them to hurry up. Like, don't you know we have things to do? Like he's the priest, he's in charge. So it also helped that Ishtana is always the very nervous, overly polite Yanti cleric. So she and Zalazar eventually came up, do the bow things, and Grung was like pointing and stamping his feet, like "Come on," type of thing, and we're all able to get past this guardian without any issues. It was awesome. So kudos to my brother. We're able to get past those. So down this stretch of this hall, we saw this um, some other niches, but the mummies did not rise up from there. So that was a plus. She had to roll to see whether they're going to cause trouble or not. And thankfully, they didn't. At the very end of the hall, we saw this um, humongous sarcophagus with another set of braziers um, on top of this dais with a that had a set of stairs going up on this dais. And I just went over there to, at the very foot of the steps, did my arcane examination. While everyone else kind of went off their way. And I was able to suss out that this is like some sort of historical figure that was under immense protection. And if we break these magical incantations or getting out of the sarcophagus, we all face the plagues, so to speak. We all suffer severe consequences for our actions. So I thought, okay, so we're avoiding this. But Lena's just there examining the arcane stuff, seeing what's there and all that stuff. Just past the brazier, there's a little tiny small hallway that's not as broad as all the other hallways we've been to. And there was a little bit of an opening for a normal human sized person. So everyone else was going over there and noticed that the little tiny archway, this little tiny bridge that they made had collapsed. Go figure. So we all have to get across. And we thought, okay, we're going to stick a couple of ropes there with some pinions. I'm mispronouncing things. I'm so sorry. Um, Pistons. I'm sorry, pistons. They were anchoring some pistons and needed a really solid anchor for this rope. Um, just in case, anyone needs the rope as we get across. Because we have three people that could float or fly, and we had Ishtana and Zalazar that may need this rope to get across. So, as they're trying to look for this anchor, Lena was able to help them carefully anchor it around um, one of those huge statue guardians, um, making sure, not to break any spells. And she relayed to them, what it is. And it was like, okay, we're not going to do that. So, we're trying to be smart, not cause any issues. Again, we used up quite a bit of our spells at this point, and we're trying to conserve them in case there's some big bad monster we had to fight. So we get across this Broken Bridge Cavern scenario, and I think it was I think it was Lena and Yeah, I think it was Lena and Lars, kind of like these two guiding, people who making sure everyone is safe as they are on this rope. And sure enough, Ishtana wasn't able to get across on this rope and fell. So we all had to flew down and save her and get her out of there. And everyone managed to get across. Bless. And we came upon this. Eh, this interesting puzzle. So, in this, I want to say 15 by 15 room or a 20 by room, it's a square room. It had doors on all walls, just in the dead center of the walls. In every corner, there's, oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes wrong. In every corner, there's a statue. One looks like a lady with some fancy garbs, well, fancy in a very ancient sense. Another looked like a dog head on a person's body. Another looks like a younger guy with a beard, and another looks a little bit older. That seems a little bit more regal. We don't know who these people are. We don't know their history because we're not part of this dimension or world. So we just thought, okay, so it's a bunch of statues. These doorways at the center of each wall, they were positioned on top of these stairs. These stairs are leading up to these doors, but all the doors are closed. So Grung thought, you know what? Maybe it's another puzzle where I have to do some sort of bowing type of thing. Make sure that we don't suffer any sort of trap from these statues and don't have to fight them. And when he was under disguise, went to the statue, and there was a series of crossings and bowings or whatever he did. He just simply did the cross and walked up the stairs of this door, and all of a sudden, the female statue went, "Hold on, no, get back over here." She was putting her arm on her hips and was kind of going. um, That was the sound that she ever did was that coughing sound and putting her hands on the hips and giving this. You forgot something. Wrong. Freaked out because he thought, oh, it's going to attack me, but learned that it was wanting him to continue whatever bowing ritual it was. So he did the whole complete bowing ritual. She was satisfied, and all of a sudden, all the um, that one door finally opened, and he thought, maybe I could try to convince all the other statues to open the other doors too. So he did this. He victory pose in the middle of this room. All the doors finally opened because it's my mom. She thought it was hilarious, and it just worked. Like, why not? It was the um, rule of cool that she used, um, which is fine. We discovered that the way to the Pokem's was across from us in the room. So we're waiting in this main room where Grom went up the steps to search for traps. There was three traps. I think, if I remember this right, there was a kind of like this honeycombed plated section that was there in front of him. And he made sure not to step on that because then it fell into this bottomless pit. Um, I think there was a wire trap he was able to disarm, so we don't know what this wire trap did. No, it was a wire trap, then the honeycombed um, falling into the pit thing, and then he thought, I'm not going to step into this room that this little tiny stairway door is leading up to, so I'm going to throw a stone in there. And all of a sudden, all these arrows came rushing into this room, just like set off the trap, and it's all right in front of his nose. And he's like, okay, I just opened another trap. So after all of that, it's this kind of a throne room esque kind of thing, and sort of like a Raiders Lost Ark. No, I'm sorry, it's the first Indiana Jones movie where you see this cute little teddy bear on this pedestal throne thing, and it's just sitting there being really super adorable. Because he was a trickster rogue, in 5.0, rogues are able to use magic. So he used Mage Hand to grab the Pokems out of there and was able to backtrack back with Pookums, with Mage Hand. He got the Pookums in the Mage Hand. We all gave him a big, huge rally of applause. We thought that was going to be more fighting with the statues, but we kind of backtracked the same way, doing the whole ceremony of vows with him under disguise. We did all the performances. No other mummies came and interfered. The moment we stepped through those doors, there was a weird shimmering effect, and we all end up the very same inn that we started when we accepted this adventure. And this barkeep went, "Well, what would it be?" All of us appeared out of nowhere, and I think Lars is the one that asked for a drink. Um, and Grung, which is sort of out of character in my opinion, um, was really upset that we committed an act of regicide on the frog people, and instead of blaming us ourselves who committed the regicide on the frog people, took it out on the doctor, our client. So he was really wanting to throw this Pilkums in the face or shoot him or something. We're able to just let aside, like, not let it really affect the plot per se. We know that is just him overreacting and trying to take out his frustrations about what had happened. I'm sure goblins don't really care about royalty that much, and I'm pretty sure Grung, this character who he's impersonating, really don't care about royalty, especially about frog people. So, anywho, we just figured, okay, this is just out of character. Let's pretend this didn't happen. That he didn't throw the Pookums and he didn't shoot him. But Lars did hand him the teddy bear to the doctor, who came in just in time as we appeared and went, "Ah, yes, yes, this is what I need." He ripped this whole teddy bear apart into all these little tiny bits and eventually got this ring, put this on, and went, "Well, thank you so much. I've been needing this because, well, reasons. Thank you. You all have this payment on my behalf, and I'll see you another time." And he disappears with the sirens going off. And that was the end of our adventure. So I really liked this adventure. It was very classic, dungeon crawl, kind of like find the task kind of thing. It had all these different elements, and I really, really want to share it with you guys. So I'm going to try to keep up with what's going on in our family every Friday. Next Friday, um, yeah, maybe next Friday. Next time, I will be talking about the next adventure we had after the story, what happened with Lena and the skeleton wand, and what they all end up doing afterwards. So I'm going to end it here. I want to say thank you for enjoying this. It was fun playing this. It was fun retelling it. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Don't forget to hit like. If you really, really like this, just let me know. If you like this video, and if you subscribe, it doesn't cost you anything. It just keeps you in the loop with what's going on. Because again, you know, YouTube didn't promote my video when I dropped it that Christmas Friday. So be sure to check out my channel. Make sure, it's there. And hit that bell so that way you get notified when a new videos drop. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.